Have you experienced when you're working with your gel plate, having your paints dry out before you're ready to pull the print? Well, we're going to talk about ways to avoid that today. And I'm going to do a little bit comparison contrast. So stick around and let's see what we come up with. Hi, it's Dave, and today is Thursday Train. Gonna be a little bit different this week for me. I'm trying out a couple of ways to allow my paint to stay workable longer. And after talking with some people, watching some videos, the idea of adding some way to retard this drying of the paint seems to be the way to go. Here in Arizona, things are extremely dry, and lately been extremely hot. So that means when I'm doing my gel plating, especially, my paints are drying much faster than they are useful. So I have to find a way to slow it down. What I've got here is a couple of different options. I have some more coming in. I'll show those at a later date. But the first one here is the Liquitex Flow Aid Additive. And I'm going to be trying both of these. The second one is the Golden Retarder. Now, just looking at the two of them, the way they feel, this is a lot more fluid. And although it has a oily feel to it, it's much less oily than what the retarder is. Put the retarder down, you should be able to see immediately just how viscous that is. This is very thin as compared to the retarder. The retarder it feels a lot more like oil. So they aren't oil. They are an acrylic based, but the two react totally different. So you're going to see that today in today's video. I'm going to show both of them. I'm going to do some simple backgrounds in preparation of what I actually intended to do this week, which will be layering with stencils. So that's going to come up here in the near future. So watch for that. We're going to test these two out and see how they work. So let's get to it. Okay, I'm going to put some paint down, and what I'm going to do on top of that is I'm going to put some of the Liquitex into trying to loosen up a little bit. This is a heavy body paint, and it's really the part of the problem is as you get going, the paint's work time just really gets knocked down. So you really have to work fast or find a way to increase that work time. So what I've done here, this is the Liquitex is a slow paint, basically an acrylic additive. So added it to this, and I'm gonna spread it out, mix it up on the plate, spread it out. I'm not looking for it to be one color. I really kind of want it to be this mottled color, just to give myself some interest. I'm already noticing that the paint is acting much different with just a little bit I put on there. As I go on, I decide to add a little bit extra to maybe get a little bit more fluidity. Rub this down nicely. Get a good rub down. Bring it all the way out to the edges. Then I'm going to put this one aside and let it dry completely. I pulled up my smaller, and I'm going to put some other paints up. I'll list all the colors that I use down in the description. And I put a little bit more of the Liquitex there so that it was even more fluid. I want to get almost to the consistency of the high flow. Get a nice rub down. And I'm seeing already that I'm getting a lot more work time, and that I'm getting, at least for now, I'm getting a real good pull on each one of these. And this one, I think I pretty much got all of the paint up, maybe in a little bit of extra. Now, these papers, what I'm going to do later is I'm going to come back and I'm going to use them as my base for the next time you see these prints. Okay, this little bit of this is the Liquitex blue gray, and that's Josonia Colonial Blue. Two different consistencies, and I'm going to try to get them to mix well. And that's the other thing about these additives is they allow you to mix the paints very easily. And so I came up with, instead of the Colonial, I actually come up with actually a pretty nice teal. Actually more of a turquoise. Give it a good rub around. I'm just mixing them more, and I'll spread them out. Now, these are all 3 times faster, and I'm cutting out parts in the middle, so I ask you your forgiveness with that. I used that for time's sake. Okay, pulled up the first one we did, the big plate. And what I was trying to do is get that old paint that was crusted on there before, and it's done a pretty good job. And as you'll see here in just a second, I don't think I could be happier with these pulls, what I ended up with, because there's just some very, very nice background. Gives me lots of depth and a lot of texture to work with. Okay, back up with the blue gray, and I'm trying to pick up what was left on the plate, and so I'm coming in with the blue gray to give it more of a patina, and I'm going to fill in the other areas after I get done. Now, notice that I didn't do anything with the blue gray when I first started. I didn't add any of the additives, so I came back afterwards on the plate and mixed it in. This is all an experiment for me because it's the first time I've worked with these, and I found it worked extremely well. So I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. I think that first one was bronze, and the second one is iridescent copper. I'll let this dry. By the time I was done with that, those 2 paints were it got dried so much I had to do something quickly. So they pretty much dried immediately. And so I added some of my this is Titan Buff Light. Just going to get a good coat across the back, and I'm going to pull this. This is my tea bag paper. It's not as transparent, but it's translucent, and is really wonderful to use in collage work. Okay, I pulled up the teal one that we did just before pulling the last 2. You can see it pulled up everything off the plate. And I got a really nice solid print there. I can work with that as a background. Okay, I'm going to put down some more color. I believe this was burnt sienna, burnt umber, and the blue gray. And again, I'll put all of this down in the description if you'd like to see what it was. Just brayer it out, get a nice gradient going. All of that looks black. It's actually black umber. You can see I did get actually a pretty nice gradient there. And again, I'm looking for texture, so that gave me a lot to work with. Okay, we're back to the big plate. We're pulling that tea bag paper off, and this took a little bit of effort because it's a fragile or can be a fragile paper, and it's better if you can pull it when it's still wet. But I wanted to get the rest of this stuff off, and so it took a little bit more time, a little more finessing to pull it from the plate. But you notice I'm getting most of everything off the plate now. And it gave me the time to be able to work with it. So so far I'm pretty impressed with the Liquitex. Start using that much torque on the paper, you risk really tearing it. So I'm going back and I'm being very careful to get around the edges and pull that loose. And I'm pretty happy with this one. That came out beautifully. That is going to make a beautiful background, something to build off of. You'll see that in one of the next videos that I do. All of these are going to become backgrounds for something else. I'm going to add layers using other tools. So you'll see those when they come up. Now it's time to kind of move over and let's see what happens with the retarder. Again, that was the Liquitex. Now we're going to talk about the retarder. The retarder is a different consistency altogether. It's a thicker, oilier feel. And you'll see it here in just a second when I put it together. I mean, this actually acts more like a stronger binder. But it also, because it's more of a thicker paint, I had more working time, and at the same time, it created the second problem where it felt like I had too much paint now. And when I went to pull this, it left more on the plate. You can see the oily on the plate, but it came out nicely, and that's still wet, whereas the other ones were pretty much dry when I pulled them off. I'm going to do one now with the colors I used in the last one, and we'll do the same thing. Now, in this example here, I'm not going to add the retarder right away. I'm going to just put it down and see how this pulls if it were just done without any additives at all. You can see there's a lot left on that plate and on I didn't get a full coverage. So I'm going to do this again. And this time I'm going to add the retarders to it. You can see already it looks like there's a heck of a lot more paint on there. It's because the retarder acts as it's a binder, and it's beautiful for allowing you to have more work time with this. Now let's pull this. You can see there's still stuff on the plate, but I got a good print off of it. So overall, the first one and the second one, you can see there's a huge difference in using the retarder. Well, this has been Thursday Train. Up after me is going to be Just Janice, followed by Art by Julie E. If you didn't watch or didn't get a chance to see Gert, she was just before me with Gert Creates. I hope you found this useful today. And as always, I'd invite you to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and share this with your friends. It really does help with the algorithm. So until next time, I want to thank you for being here. Bye for now.